What's up, Beaver fam? Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that makes it super easy. It lets you distribute it everywhere and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and you can get started at spotify.com/podcasters. Here's how it works. You can record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and literally everywhere else podcasts are heard. They even have video podcasts. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can make money from your podcast through ads and even podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free. There's no catch. We've been using Spotify for Podcasters since the beginning and highly recommend you give it a try too. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
If I'm going to be muted for this episode, I'm going to be fucking
Terry doesn't
pissed.
know that he's muted.
This is such
Yeah,
horseshit.
let's have this conversation, JP.
A little lower.
What do you think
Yeah.
about the
A little
recruiting?
lower. Stop it. You can hear me. I know you can. Isn't it a very nice way to treat your friend on Christmas, guys? Or on Boxing Day, I guess.
Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day.
What a day. What a celebration.
What a day indeed. Boxing Day was even better than Christmas Day.
Oh, man.
And I don't even know where to start. We got so many presents.
So many presents.
And Boxing Day, do you box people or is it about boxes?
I think you're boxing up all the presents that you didn't like to bring back to the store.
Oh my God. So you punch
I
the
think
presents
that's what it is.
until they get their way back to the store.
Absolutely not what it is.
Or breaking down the boxes.
breaking down the boxes, or no, it's unboxing additional presents that you may not have got, that may just be a day late but still right on time, like Jordan Anderson committing to Oregon State University. I'm looking at the Boxing Day Wikipedia right now, and here, a tradition started in the Paris of the Pacific Northwest on December 26, 2023, in honor of four-star recruit Jordan Anderson committing to Trent Bray and the Oregon State Beavers as a Christmas present the day after Christmas.
Yep.
And there's another, for further disambiguation, there's an article here for the Ghost of Christmas Way Future Weehage that you and I also the evil Bone Lord Skullatrix or something. I'll save that part for later, but that is what Boxing Day is in celebration for, especially on this podcast and all throughout all of Beaver Nation, because while most of the world takes time off December 24th and 25th, as we did, Oregon State recruiting kept going hard in the paint. So, what a couple of days. We first decided to for sure record on this day just to keep the momentum going and do some Sun Bowl prep, but we actually have a lot of news we need to get to. Endless presents, but we'll get to all of that first. I want to hear from you guys a little bit first, though. We are recording this on the evening of December 26, 2023. Boxing Day, a day celebrated after Christmas Day, occurring on the second day of Christmastide. Boxing Day was once a day to donate gifts to those in need, but it has evolved to become a part of Christmas festivities, with many people choosing to shop for deals on Boxing Day, originating in the United Kingdom and celebrated in several Commonwealth nations, including Beaver Nation. The attached bank holiday or public holiday may take place on the 28th of December if necessary to ensure it falls on a weekday. That's my kind of holiday.
That is my kind of holiday.
Absolutely. Boxing Day is also concurrent with the Christian festival St. Stephen's Day, in honor of JP beating our friend Aaron Balake, a.k.a. Aaron Stevens, in our Fantasy League semifinals to make it to the championship, where he will meet me. So we're going to fight, JP.
Yeah. So
only one of us can live.
Well, there will be an episode 123. We know that because these are 2-week matchups. So
2 aggregate playoffs. It's like Champions League, UEFA, but with more money on the line.
yeah, but there's certainly not going to be an episode 124. I don't know if our friendship will survive this one.
I don't know. Have we met in the championship before?
I don't think so.
It's been years.
Yeah.
It will just be
if indeed
me
at all.
by myself with the Sacco trophy.
You didn't get last.
I lost to
guess-
Ted, who
I guess you
was
could.
last.
I feel like the last place trophy needs to be a regular season award, though.
Yeah. Dude,
no one
I had
cares about
such
the consolation ladder.
Yes,
I had
they do.
Such a good.
They shouldn't.
I bet my team scored more than both your guys' teams this week. It's just the last week my team scored like 60 points.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Well, when you usually score 60 points in the first playoff game, there's generally not another playoff game.
No.
I guess that's
Sad
not
truth.
always true in a 7-game series. But yeah, we are not gathered here to talk shit about the fantasy championship matchup between JP and I, though we can. It is the last episode of 2023.
Whoa, it's the last
And-
episode of season 3.
It's the last episode of season 3 of this great drama, critically acclaimed drama that is the Belligerent Beavs. We'll be back for season 4 real fucking quick after the new year. But yeah, this is the last episode of 2023. Only a few more days for JP to say it's 2023. And
That was such a good resolution.
This is a year that definitely happened. A lot of shit took place in it. I'm not even ready to be like, fuck this year. A lot of people are like, fuck this year. Can't wait for the new year, whatever.
Oh.
I'm happy about a lot of things that happened in 2023, several of which that happened over the last 2 days that we're going to get into that I'm excited about. We also had a great Belligerent last Thursday. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to that and celebrated with us on that thing that used to be called Twitter and used to be like a 90% dumpster fire instead of a 99% dumpster fire, and helped make it less so for one night, if one night only. Twitter was a really fun place. That was a great Belligerent.
That was really fun. And really appreciate everyone that showed up and showed out for Belligerent. I feel like we had a lot of interaction from the folks that were in that spaces. So we certainly appreciate all that interaction. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, and the fact that we went over 2 hours and people stuck around, some of them were there the entire time. They actually put up with all of our bullshit for 2 hours. So props to y'all. Thanks for spending time with us,
Tell me
especially
you
during the
hate
holidays.
spending time with your family over the holidays without telling me you hate spending time with your family. Just kidding. It was Thursday, December 21st, so there is a little bit of a cushion before Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But speaking of that, we're going to get into the good news commitments that came Beaver Nation's way on December 24th and December 25th and December 26th. But how was your guys' Christmases? It's out like people were celebrating, things were merry, lots going on. I know we had lots of family things to get to until we got here. I think we're all kind of riding off of the holiday fumes right now. But lots of parties and boxes and tags and gift wrap, and I'll promise I won't turn this into another Christmas poem. But how were your guys' Christmas Eves and Christmas days? I want to hear about it.
Yeah, it was.
Go ahead, Ben.
Mine will be quick. It was good. I do a lot of the holiday stuff earlier in December, so it was nice and very relaxing. We actually, Yuri and I went over to her folks' place in Bainbridge today to celebrate sort of the holidays in general. So that was fun. Always very relaxing over there, but yeah, just very chill for me.
Yeah, not so chill for me. It was chill. It was chiller than last year when my entire family came down with norovirus on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, including myself being knocked out for the entirety of Christmas Day and leaving it up to me to handle all of the duties of parents on Christmas Eve, with my wife being knocked out early But yeah, it was a good year. Just super, super busy. We were all over the place. Went to my wife's parents' house for Christmas Eve dinner. Went to my wife's aunt and uncle's house for Christmas dinner. And yeah, like, I guess one fun highlight, which was oddly terrifying for me, was at my kids' school, my older kids' school, the Mini Bebe school. They asked us if the baby Ruby wanted to play baby Jesus in their like nativity, like Christmas Eve nativity skit.
We were like, a real baby. Oh man, that's lit.
Wait. So we were like, yeah, well, think about it, because we like don't go to church on Christmas Eve or really that often at all. And so we were like trying to be like we'll let you know, and like see if they just found somebody else. But, like the next day at school, everybody's like stopping me after I drop off the kid, and they're like, "Hey, I heard that Ruby's gonna be the baby Jesus." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I thought Annie had like confirmed it. Anyways, we got thrown into it. They had real animals in the church. Real animals.
What?
So, real donkeys.
The most like.
Alpaca.
Is James Cameron directing this children's nativity play?
They had a goat, an alpaca, and a donkey, and
they had an alpaca in the church.
That's just Portland. They just had to go like 2 houses down to find all those animals. Let's be real.
Yeah. And of course, my daughter was terrified of the poor 7th grade girl who was playing Mary, Jesus' mother. And every time she was handed off to Mary, Ruby would scream cry, just nonstop. So I'm sitting there, Annie and I are stressed. Like, this is
That's why you use a Cabbage Patch Kid.
This is pre-program. We're like, is she gonna scream cry? This is gonna be so embarrassing. And as Annie's trying to like hang out with the other kids who were participating as well, the donkey outside of the church took a massive dump, a watery dump, all over the place. I
already know this is going to be the headliner that is randomly selected to highlight this episode. That's the best part about this in real time.
It splattered all over the floor, like not just like straight down, but like splashed. And it got one of the poor like 5th graders' shoes, like covered his shoes. He was supposed to be in the play, and covered his shoes. He was in absolute shock. It like splattered so far, it got like a little bit on my wife's shoe. And
wait, this is like, inside the church?
That was outside of it. So they were like, this was right before they all went out. So I'm sitting there with the baby, trying to keep her calm before they go out. The donkeys are taking huge craps outside. And then they all start going. Everything actually went pretty well with the baby. I was impressed. I was really surprised, truly surprised that she didn't scream cry the entire time she did in any of the practices. But they walked the animals down the aisle, then to the front, and right in the front, the donkey took another shit right in the middle of the aisle. You can actually go see this live streamed.
Is this in a sanctuary or like a school auditorium?
Oh no, it's in the church.
Okay,
dude, that is so crazy.
Yeah,
is this the first year that they had live animals there?
They've always had live animals, and there's a new priest, and he was like, when they told him that they do live animals every year, his face, I guess, was like, what? Like, no. We're not like gonna do that. I'm sorry.
This might be the last. Of that.
Yeah. I didn't get to see much because I was waiting backstage essentially for the baby to come back into my arms, and I watched the live stream later to see how my other kids performed because I couldn't see them either, and that's when I saw that the donkey took the second crap. But the priest was like filming it with his phone in the middle of church. He was like laughing and filming the whole thing. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like it. It was definitely a highlight of my Christmas.
The most surprising part of any of this is that you were hesitant to have your child chosen as the representation as the son of God. I feel like your ego would have said in a heartbeat, like, yup, but...
Well, I did feel that way when I was there.
Right.
I did feel like God.
Dude, that's so fun. What was the mini bebe? What role did he have?
Oh, he was a sheep. And so is Penelope.
Were they like the animals and the people playing animals can go hang out with each other?
So this is like when they asked Penelope if she wanted to be an angel, like all the little kids that weren't in the school yet. They're
did she get in trouble when she said, "I'm a demon"?
No, she said, "I don't want to be an angel. I want to be a monster."
Middle child energy, baby.
Yeah. So she ended up a sheep. And if you watch the live stream at all, you'll notice her like start to kind of wander on the stage. She put her the costume was like this sleeveless like sheep white outfit with like a hood, and like at some point she got cold and put her arms inside the costume, so she was just like this like armless little tiny girl up on the stage, and then she just like turned around and was like facing away from the crowd and like walking up the steps of the altar with her arms inside of her costume. Yeah, I don't know if she'll be invited back to act, but baby Ruby, yeah, she's on her way to Hollywood.
She did a good job.
That's so funny.
She's able to turn down the cries and the screams and save that shit just for rehearsal.
Yeah,
so you know Ruby's a performer.
Yeah, she knew when it was time.
No, I'd
to turn
say
it up.
Poppy sounds like a performer too, just on her own terms.
Yeah, very much so.
Well,
you and
that's
I probably
fun.
had the most polar opposite Christmas Eve. I think I watched the Comey Rule.
Yeah,
on Netflix.
no one pooped on the floor unless it was Ben himself, in which case he was like, you know what? Sometimes that just happens, but I'm the only one awake right now. That's really fun. I love. Wait, so there is a live stream of this. How are we? We need to publicize the link on all Belligerent Beavs channels.
Yeah, I got to figure out what the link is. It's just something like the Nativity Christmas Eve 4 p.m. or something like that. And then if you skipped like 45 minutes in, because it was like filming the whole time, I guess, when people were coming in. But that's when it all starts. And that's when you see the donkey take a crap on the live stream, just right like in the middle of the feed.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was over at Yuri's folks' house today. So Yuri's family is Jewish, and her dad is a photographer, and he photographed a midnight mass, I guess, on Christmas Eve, and was asking me just about like my experience at church, especially around Christmas time. And like, I think like most kids, church was excruciating when you're a kid. But I was like, but Christmas time was sort of the exception. Like,
sometimes the music slaps. The church Christmas music does slap. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. O Come Emmanuel was fucking jam for me. But yeah, Christmas time, like church at Christmas time is fun. I like it.
It's festive.
But you didn't go.
Yeah. No, the Comey Rule is on.
No, exactly.
No, he's too busy taking shits on his floor at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you watch any Christmas movies, Benny? Not necessarily on Christmas Eve itself, but just this Christmas season.
Yeah, the Home Alone 1 and 2 is a staple for sure. I watch that every year.
You gotta watch them both every year.
Yeah, I'm always surprised at how many like famous quotes from especially Home Alone 1 people use on like a daily
keep the
basis.
change, you filthy animal.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
I said that to every single pizza guy who came to our house in my childhood, and really, really regret it after, like, because imagine, like, I thought I was being funny. Like, oh, I'm the sassiest, most, like, wittiest 6-year-old there is. And it's like, if you were delivering pizzas in the early to mid 90s, you heard that from every punk ass kid.
Yeah. So clever.
Goddamn house. Yeah.
Speaking of that movie,
You have? Oh my god!
Oh, was that what's that called?
Wait a minute, what is that actually called?
Angels with filthy.
Angels with filthy souls.
Yeah,
it's
Angels
upside
with
down,
filthy
JP,
souls.
but we can read it. Angels with filthy souls.
is that right side up?
I know.
Yeah.
And I know I heard that name. Snakes. Listener, JP is holding an actual cassette tape of the movie Angels with Filthy Souls, which is the movie that Kevin McAllister is watching in the actual Home Alone movie.
It's rubbish. I'm watching rubbish.
Wait. You have to look at the rating.
It's rated R for sure.
Yeah, is that in focus? What's happening?
It is in focus. I can see it.
What it says next to the R?
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. 1,
it says
2, 10. JP, give me Tommy gun noises. Scared Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern off of my back stoop.
Wait, what happens? What happens when you put that in? Because it's a fake movie that they made for Home Alone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like it's.
I thought it was a real movie.
No, it's a fake movie made for Home Alone. So this is like a prop of a fake movie. But even the rating, it says rated R for rubbish, violence. If Uncle Frank says no, then it must be real bad.
Fuck Uncle Frank. Every time I watch that movie today, I'm like, Uncle Frank, you sack of shit.
I'll have to send you guys. I got this last year right as Christmas ended, and it's like somebody made it as like literally like a decorative prop, but it's hilarious. The little Easter eggs on the back. It says like approved by the American Dental Association. It's got the cast of, like Ralph Footy is Johnny, Michael Guido is Snakes. Like it's got everyone on here. So
we gotta find a VCR.
I've heard that name.
There's got to be more Easter egg. Like it has to be a functioning VHS. Like if you pop it into a VCR,
it is. But they said like it's gonna be just a movie like that they grabbed off their shelf. Like whoever made this, like it's definitely like a handcrafted prop. But it looks great on a shelf at Christmas time.
So it has like it has something like the Watergate newscast on it. Like
it could,
whatever was the breaking news story when we first had VHSs as a society.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah. That might be one of my favorite just movies of all time. And when I was watching it, I was like, Home Alone is a good movie, but it's more about the nostalgia of watching it than anything. And then I started watching The Christmas Story because like when I was young,
and you look like
my parents.
You look like the kid.
Yeah, I look like Ralphie, like a lot like Ralphie when I was growing up. And so I wanted to show Yuri because she had never seen it before. And like 10 minutes into the movie, I was like, no, this movie is actually really not good.
Me and Sam got in an argument about that this Christmas season. I was like, that movie's mid at best. It was just whatever TBS or whatever station was like, oh, we'll just play it for 3 weeks straight when it's Christmas season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Friday after next Christmas Day. Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I did get Home Alone and Home Alone 2 in this season as well. I, of course, got Muppet Christmas Carol, which I have to watch every year. It's my favorite Christmas movie. We talked about A Christmas Carol last episode. And then I also just put a little reference that I thought of on our socials today in honor of the end of A Christmas Carol. I felt it was appropriate for Oregon State. Mm-hmm. The Tiny Tim of that story where, looks like abandonment, left for dead, no hope. And then, surprise, bitch, we're the hero of the whole thing.
I played Tiny Tim in my K through 8th grade Christmas play when I was in the 3rd grade.
Did they
get so scary?
Did they get real ghosts to play the ghost of Christmas past?
And did they have feet?
Present today? And did they have feet? And did any of the Muppets shit everywhere?
No, but they gave me like basically a Green Man suit with no clothes on top, and that like I don't do well in front of crowds anyways. But being what I was in,
so that's
interpreting
why
as a naked frog. It was so scary. I think I've been told that I didn't go out. Yeah, because it was a Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, you did it was a complete retelling of a Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I love that interpretation of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That your chaperone or teacher back then was like, no, we're not going to honor that this was actually a real book written by a real guy. We're doing a retelling of the Muppets retelling of the original telling.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas. We've got shit we need to talk about. Really exciting couple of days for Beaver Nation, specifically Oregon State football. let's run through this Reagan beer segment real quick. I made some pretty damn good holiday cocktails for friends and family over the last couple of days, but those have all gone dry at this point. But we did have some very festive drinks and some very strong Manhattans, as what happens when you spend Christmas Eve with Mr. Horstman, my dad, and they were very tasty and had Manhattans by a fire and just talked about Amarion York and Gabarri Johnson and others that we'll get into later. But so I just have nice cold beer left in the fridge, and this one I have a Montucky Cold Snacks.
Oh, best can ever.
Which is a great can. Look at that majestic steed just galloping into the mist of Avalon.
Is the cold snacks, it's cold dried poop?
Yes.
Just donkey shit.
The official, unofficial beer of Montana. It's just a very good light beer made in Montana. That's also cheap. And it's not poopy. I was joking.
That's good.
It's very delicious. So
I wouldn't want that for you.
Montucky Cold Snacks. Very, very nice sunset in this can, and the can has layers, as you can see. So we love a beer can that tells a story.
Yeah,
that's kind of the theme of this podcast. So I am drinking a delicious Montucky Cold Snacks to celebrate this Boxing Day. JP, how about you, my good man?
I'm drinking a double mountain, not double IPA, fa la 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 winter ale.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many laws in the title of that there?
I don't know. I've had a few, so I think there's 4.
You add a la with each one you have. So this one's a fa la 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 la.
How does it compare to a Jubilee?
I like Jubilee Ale better.
Yeah.
This one's got a little more malty taste, which I used to like, I guess, more. Man,
like, does Fat Tire have a malty taste?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was trying to think about what I can compare it to, and it definitely is closer to Fat Tire than what you'd get for some of the more like current trends for flavor profiles for beers, but it's still a good winter ale. I kind of like the richness of it.
I love having those beers in the wintertime, especially around Christmas, but like, I know you might be used to this, but it's been like 50 degrees and rainy here. So we had no snow on Christmas, just wet rain. Just wet mud bay. I haven't even gotten my winter coat out yet. It just didn't feel like Christmas, whatever. So winter, my palate will probably crave that in like January when, we'll probably go from this to like 15 below zero instantly with nothing in between. But yeah, haven't been able. I feel like it's very weather inducing when I want a Jubilee Ale or any of those sort of Christmassy, wintry, festy beers.
Yeah,
but I do like them.
It does help. Yeah. You got to be in the right setting,
right,
to really maximize it. It's still good without the setting, but yeah,
sure.
It definitely it bumps it up like 0.4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think Fat Tire was my first like favorite beer. I think.
Yeah.
I really like Fat Tire.
Right.
Yeah.
Fat Tire, I feel like is a common like. Oh, I should probably drink something besides shit.
Yeah.
This isn't a bottle that looks nice. Nothing wrong with Fat Tire, of course.
Yeah,
but I remember that too. Like turning like 20, it was like, oh, I need to. I'm still not old enough to drink legally, but like I need to drink real beer now. Enough of this Busch Light shit. I drink Fat Tire because I'm a grown up.
Yeah, New Belgium. I don't think they'd be considered a craft brewery. Well, they probably weren't then either, but
I think they've been bought, right? They might be back to being.
They might produce too much to get that distinction, but definitely, in beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado, which we will not have an away game because I just remembered we are hosting Colorado State and not playing at Colorado State. We'll probably play at Colorado State again sometime soon, though, and I will go there for that game because Fort Collins slaps. Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Weehage, how are you celebrating Boxing Day this evening?
I have a tasty regular Coca-Cola.
It's not even a Santa can. What are you doing?
Well, it is the season of Coca-Cola being advertised using animals, specifically polar bears, and Trent Bray has had an animal of a first month as the head coach of Oregon State's football season, which may be a good segue into our first segment.
We have to cheers first, but I love it. I haven't seen the polar bear or any of the Santa cans this year. Maybe I'm just not buying soda at the same rate that I used to. Yeah. But I used to really look forward to the Santa cans. All right, well, cheers to this another great Reagan beer segment, another great year 3 of this damn podcast.
Yeah,
and happy New Year to you and yours, Beaver fam, and thank you for riding with us through all of 2023. JP, please give me 5 seconds of the New Year's song. It has some Latin name that I'm forgetting right now. Auld Lang Syne or something. Just 5 seconds of it. It's, it's deserved. L'chaim.
Cheers.
What's the New Year's song?
It's like, like da 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 da. And like the words
you didn't
of that
hear and I just played it
like are that just revealed to the listener that's added in post-production and not live. Our credibility has just gone to shit. Oh no. That song, Benny, we just sang it together as a family / podcast.
My memory is short.
Benny, do you want to talk about Gabarri Johnson or Jordan Anderson first, or just talk about both of them together? Let's talk about Gabarri.
Tacoma, stand up.
Tacoma, stand up. We love Tacoma. Tacoma Mockingbird, as the famous book should be called. Gabarri Johnson announces on Christmas Day, 100% committed to the Oregon State Beavers. We had talked about the quarterback position a lot this offseason. Oregon State linked to names like Malik Murphy and Ty Thompson. Obviously got another transfer in Giovanni McCoy from the University of Idaho. Right now, it is expected that the spring camp, fall camp competition will include McCoy, and all signs from people who know more than I seem to say Ben Gulbranson's coming back. He doesn't need to. He's accomplished a lot already as a student and, as I would still also say, as a football player. But it sounds like Gulbranson is coming back, at least as early tea leaves would indicate. And then Gabarri Johnson. So that's kind of the big quarterback news we've been waiting for this offseason. A little bit less tape on Johnson than Murphy, obviously, and quite a bit less tape than the big transfer news of last offseason when DJ Uiagalelei announced his intentions to transfer to Oregon State. But this is a connection that we got because of new offensive coordinator Ryan Gunderson. And I'd say we're all pretty damn excited about it. And I think we all have to feel pretty good about this quarterback situation, given where we were a month ago. I know maybe the cynics who listen to us might get frustrated about always pointing to that position, just where we were that day after the Civil War game, that, really, really dark Saturday. But I don't think anyone really thought that we'd be here about 4 weeks later with a 4-star transfer from Mizzou coming with intentions to start and to do really incredible things for this football team.
Yeah. I mean, Gabarri was ranked as the number 2 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Went to an SEC school. Didn't get very much playing time there. But, I mean, I do have to shout out, like, local Tacoma kid. That's awesome. Little known fact, I bought my olive trees through the Lincoln High School plant sale they have every spring. Gabarri went to Lincoln High School. So, yeah. But look, like
good olives too.
Well, they're still growing. I bought the trees when they were very small. But like, I'm so excited about that. I was thinking about Oregon State like Aiden was going to be Oregon State's first dual threat quarterback since Tim Alexander back in the late 90s. And like that is, I feel like an offense is so much more fun and exciting to watch when you do have a dual threat quarterback. And all indications are pointing to Gabarri being one of the best. And I don't know, man. Like, you need somebody as talented as the players around him in that position, right? And when you have Dame, and now you have Malachi and Jordan at lining up as receiver, like, dude, this offense is going to be so fucking fun to watch next year. And look, like, let's not forget about McCoy either. Like, McCoy was the Big Sky freshman of the year his freshman year, so he's no slouch. But Jabari's just so special. I've tried to go back and look at articles written about him as he was graduating high school, and I mean, what the local writers have to say is that Gabarri is special in a way that they hadn't seen before. And I don't think that you can say, well, he's a 4-star number 2 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school, but he's X stars or whatever number dual threat quarterback as a transfer. He didn't get any playing time in Mizzou. So I'm very, very excited about that. The past his ability to play the position and be exciting, I do think it's telling that one of the reasons that was reported why Oregon State landed him, other than his relationship with Ryan Gunderson, is that he did want to be closer to home. And I think that is probably a topic that we'll cover a little bit here. But the way Oregon State is rebuilding this team that felt like it was gutted just a month ago is that they're getting kids that they're not having to beg to come play here. They're selling them on something, and they're getting kids that want to be in Corvallis. They're getting kids that want to be part of this program. And I think Gabarri and Jordan are like the foundational elements of something special being built right now. So I know you guys have stuff to say, but I'm just over the moon excited for this kid to see what he can do. And excited to see just that melding of a relationship between him and the Beaver fam. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that he's semi-local. I think that it plays a bit towards him having at least some understanding of what kind of implications the school has been facing and will continue to face, especially while he is playing there, given there might be some kids who are back east. They go into the portal, they see Oregon State, they kind of heard what's going on, but they don't really get it, or they don't really pay too much attention to it. They transfer, realize, oh, this isn't what I want to do. I made a wrong choice because now I don't want to be part of this like iffy situation, which obviously has a lot more clarity the last week than it did 2 weeks ago. And so I think that that's a testament to the stability that the program is actually facing behind the scenes, that somebody like Gabarri would use Oregon State as a school to come closer to home, given all the public knowledge around their circumstances. I want to say, like, obviously the relationship with Gundy, which is, who knows how deep it really was, if it was just familiarity versus if there was a lot of like affinity towards each other. I don't know how well they got to know each other. I mean, I know UCLA never actually offered him, so it didn't get that far, I would imagine, if that wasn't the case. But they knew of each other. Obviously, that means that Johnson knew about Gunderson's coaching style, the success that he has had with dual threat mobile quarterbacks. DTR is a great example. Like, that kind of skill set is very similar to Johnson, so there's a likelihood that, he's going to shine and thrive under Gundy. And similarly, like you mentioned, like with Aiden and the excitement around Aiden being a dual threat and Gabarri filling that hole that was left. And I think he did it more than just being a dual threat quarterback. I think looking, obviously this stuff doesn't matter much, but even transfer portal ratings, high school ratings, everything is almost in parallel, like in lockstep with Aiden's progress in ratings and everything else. And so really, like, we almost picked up exactly where we left off, and who knows what direction it goes from here. But I think that Beaver fans should be just as excited about Gabarri Johnson, if they're not already, as they were for Aiden Childs, if not more, just because this was a decision he made under these circumstances to be a Beav.
Yep. Right.
I think that carries a lot of weight.
And I think a lot of this speaks to everything we were hoping for when we were talking about who could replace Jonathan, and all of us really wanted Bray for a lot of reasons, but also that it was kind of the best combination of, we think this guy can be a hell of a coach for now and for always, but also it's the most important 2-year stretch, arguably, in any program's history. I know there's a bit more, at least a shred more stability with Oregon State and Washington State coming out on top of the lawsuit, but these next 2 years worth of games have a lot of stakes attached to them. And Bray we wanted because we wanted to limit the mass exodus of any players leaving. It seems like, I would argue that that's been accomplished. I think I've gone back and tried to look at transfer portal trends when coaches get fired. There's obviously so much data on that in the last 5 years because if you've noticed, in college football, coaches get fired a lot. And especially in the last 5 years, players transfer a lot. And we've lost some really beloved, great names. And I don't want to diminish those losses at all. But it's not an endless list of anything. And even with Smith, the recruiting class was flirting with like ratings nationally ranked like in the 40s or so. And then when he leaves and the first round of decommits comes in, that ranking plummets to like 125. And today, even I don't know if the Anderson and Johnson and Amarion York, I don't think York was factored into it yet. He, for some reason, wasn't on that list, even after he tweeted and Bray tweeted about him. But, and I'm glad we're moving higher, but at least for a moment, I was happy to see that our rating was paused, nationally ranked at 69. Nice. Which isn't 40. It's not 35. And I do think that had Smith kept going with the momentum he had, would have been able to crank out top 30 classes to Corvallis, which is a part of the reason why the leaving hurts. But like, for the program to replace him with Bray, and then you kind of withstand that first week of things just being really bad, but then almost instantly turn it around to have all this positive momentum. I think we talked about it when Van Wells and Anthony Hankerson, I think, were the first two transfers, and then we had gotten a couple new high school commits at first, and we came on this pod and we're like, all right, everyone, we need to take breaths, and also just, whether it's the most exciting transfer in the world or not, incoming momentum of any degree is a good sign. Like, you want at least people showing signs of life and wanting to be here, given the situation we're in. And now it's gone to the point where it's not just people wanting to come to Oregon State. It's really highly rated, really talented, really exciting young student athletes who are coming and sound super excited about it. And I mean, I read Greg Biggins's of the national recruiting guy for 24/7 Sports reaction piece to Jordan Anderson today, and like, it wasn't just like puffy, like, oh, I came here because the coaches are cool and the campus is nice and they connected with my family. Like, he kind of goes in depth about how he and Gundy and Hinson under Bray want to run this offense and the plans that they have for him. So they've really, within a few weeks, have done a phenomenal job. And I'm not just trying to grandstand and be homers for the program here. Think of how sad we were the day after the Civil War game.
Yeah.
We're so excited about this team right now. And It's not just us like looking at it be like, oh, this is just the latest 2-star. That Riley is gonna shine up and turn into a stud. That was always grasping at straws, even though sometimes it did work. Jordan Anderson had a Georgia offer. He had a Washington offer. He had a Michigan offer.
Yeah.
UCLA, he had so many good offers. And I know that happened. Decommitted from Oregon. Has a rated 4-star recruit ever decommitted from Oregon and gone to Oregon State? I think that's never happened. No. I would guess it's never happened. Maybe I'm wrong. If you know that I'm wrong and there's a person, let us know in the comments. Send us a DM. Hit us up on Twitter. We know you guys will. But like, just the momentum of incoming talent.
Yep.
Is something that's usually reserved for like the next like months down the line, and you maybe have to sacrifice a season to really like get it going. Like this coaching staff and this program is being like heel turn excitement.
We back.
It's incredible.
It like, I'm trying to temper down my excitement a little bit because it is a small sample size. But look, like Oregon State, we talked about it while it was going on. It was rock bottom after the Civil War. Rock bottom. Not only, I mean, we all lived it. We know what happened. But Oregon State's position in terms of what you would anticipate the desirability of kids to want to go to the program seems like it should be at kind of an all-time low, or at least all-time low in terms of like last 20 years. I can't think of another time where Oregon State was in a position where like a recruit would be incentivized to not come here. Brand new coach, brand new coaching staff. You have an offensive coordinator who hasn't been an offensive coordinator before. You have a school that is in limbo in terms of are they going to be a Power 5 school, or are they going to be a Group of 5 school? Like what's going to happen there? An NIL collective that doesn't really compete with some of the national brands. And you just had the best 2 days of recruiting in school history. So, that is insane to me that we're able to do that. The coaching,
on major holidays.
Right. The coaching staff
should be slow.
The coaching staff is still developing relationships with each other, and they're able to pull these 2 recruits. And it's not just these 2 recruits either. It's the plethora of talent that's coming into the program right now. And that's why I say, like, I think that these are the foundational pieces to something that is really special that's being built. Because if Bray can recruit like this, and not just Bray, but the entire coaching staff can recruit like this in sort of the state of affairs that Oregon State is in right now, what is it going to look like once there is more clarity, and once it doesn't seem like the sky is falling for Oregon State in terms of the future? Like, let's say we land in a Power 5 conference and we are in a stable situation. Like, what's Bray going to be able to do then? It's just so exciting and such a stark change from where we were just a month ago. And like, that's the Bray hasn't even been in the position for a month. It's been 28 days since he was announced as the head coach.
Remember when he was announced as the head coach and wasn't going to coach the bowl game, and people were like, "What is he going to be doing?" This is what he's fucking doing.
I gotta say too, they're definitely in my mind, and maybe I don't want to speak on behalf of you guys or other Beaver fans, but there was a bit of doubt in my mind about how Jonathan Smith would have been able to navigate through these waters. How he continued to recruit and build on the trend that he had built over the last few years with his recruiting classes. And of course, when everything turned upside down, and then even bringing Bray on board, as exciting as that was, and as happy as I was about that hire, I still was wondering, like, well, now we're even in a deeper hole. So to me, really tough sledding for Bray. And man, what they've been able to do, I don't know what they're selling these kids. I mean, the only explanation I can find, or not even find, but just really think, is that there's a simple character trait about the kind of kids who are teetering on success and brand recognition for themselves that don't want to roll up into this, like, now you're just a pawn in this bigger brand. They want to make a name for themselves. They see Oregon State as a great opportunity to do so. They appreciate the challenge. They're not afraid to back down from it. I mean, this kind of stuff, it's very clear. I mean, even Jordan with his, after he announced it, saying like the create your own wave instead of hopping in one, like that kind of mentality, I think, is going to permeate college athletics, especially college football, more and more and more as NIL and building your own brand matters more than almost anything else. And it used to be join the brand, get recognized because you have the gear, right? Like if someone saw you in the airport and you're wearing like a USC jacket, player jacket, like immediate recognition. But that's all you really ever got unless you were like the Matt Leinarts or Reggie Bush, right? Like you couldn't build your own brand beyond that. No one remembers like anybody else who played for USC, like nobody. So nowadays you want to build your own brand in parallel with the brand that you associate with. So it's like Jordan probably sees this as a great opportunity. Like I can be a big name at this school doing really incredible stuff. And I believe that it's almost this like symmetrical relationship where I can help the school do incredible things and be and get out from this like tumultuous time, and then by doing so, I wouldn't probably ever be overshadowed by the Oregon State brand if I was trying to continue to brand myself for NIL opportunities and anything post college. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a position that these coaches are looking at or selling. And then the players that are biting are the ones that are like, hell yeah, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think I've been trying to wrap my head around how they're going after these kids. Like, what are they selling to them? Because it's not playing time, right? It's not the like putting them on a stage that they wouldn't be on at another bigger branded school, because Oregon State's always had that. Like 4-star recruits are few and far between at Oregon State. And we don't even know what channel is going to be broadcasting Oregon State's home game. So you can't say that it's about putting them on a bigger stage or giving them playing time, right? So there is something that this coaching staff is selling these kids on that is working in a way that I don't think it was working even with Jonathan Smith. Like Jonathan Smith, you're right, Terry, like he had some good recruiting classes. But I think that if you listen to what like Ryan Harlan was saying during the spaces for Belligerent about sort of Bray's intensity and how everyone pays attention when he walks into a room, and he walks a sort of fine line of being somebody who's approachable but someone who commands the room. I mean, that's what you want in a coach, right? Like that's what you want in a coach, and maybe it's that is like he shines where other college football coaches don't in terms of how he's able to talk to these kids and relate to these kids and excite these kids in their living rooms. I don't know, but there's something that's clearly being sold to these kids that hasn't in the past with other.
Real quick, Terry, I set this the comment on this, and it's I don't want to keep bringing them up, but it's funny because I thought about this today about being in the living rooms, blah blah blah, and I was thinking, Bray must be really selling really well, building relationships, building trust. And I haven't seen like a home visit picture pop up yet. And you used to see them a lot more often than you do now.
Right.
But I recall there was a long period of time where I was not sure if the home visits that Jonathan Smith was photographed in, if he was actually there or if it was like a Photoshop or a cardboard cutout, because it was like the same forced happy pose in every single picture. Time. And I went back and looked just today. I literally looked on Twitter today. I looked up Jonathan Smith visit and looked at the photos, and they're all actually like a couple years old. And of course, it's kind of interesting to look back at some of the prospects that he had visited with, who did commit, who didn't, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, well, I don't know. All the poses were exactly the same and looked like he could have been furniture in the house. That's how much he blended in. It was so boring.
Oh, that's a terrifying Christmas decoration. I've seen some home visits, but not any with Bray specifically. Like I've seen home visits with assistant coaches, that have been posted, and I mean, I think those. Not to defend Jonathan Smith, I do think those photos look awkward by every program that posts them, especially when it's Christmas time and it's like in front of the tree with this man who tried to get me to come play for his football team. But
go look at his pose in every single picture.
Weird.
It's exactly the same.
His pose was weird. He did not have that same charisma. Yeah, on the Smith thing, it's like every data point up until we knew he was gone for sure made me believe in him and his approach to recruiting, but clearly he wasn't made for navigating these waters that we were being forced into after the Pac-12 contract runs out. So there's no like, oh, like things would be so much better, beyond like knowing that we wouldn't have lost commits in like this recruiting class. But I do think what I'm sure, and like I think we've kind of talked about this and maybe trying to sell even ourselves and being excited in ways that I don't even think are wrong. I think Bray is being very smart and the whole staff is being very smart about selling the opportunity. Like you look at the schedule next year and we don't know who's going to be the broadcast partners are. It's not the same like level of competition necessarily, but it's like, look at that schedule. You go undefeated with that schedule and you're the biggest story in college football. Like if Oregon State goes undefeated next year in this first year post realignment chaos, well, it's still mid realignment chaos, but post, realignment death sentence essentially, and flip what was a disadvantage into your own dramatic advantage. That's storytelling 101. And like, we hate to admit this, but we know it's all true. College football is a television show. If you do make that run and you're in position to make the college football playoff, that's one of the better stories in college football of the college football playoff era. If this team that got left for dead when Lee Corso said that nobody wants us / nobody watches us, whatever the fuck he said, and you're in this position within your first year of being, sent to the gallows, and you flip it to be in the running, that's something people will remember forever. And so when he's going to these kids who are thinking about, these other schools, whether it be Big 10, Big 12 or whatever, I think you can sort of paint the picture of here are the things standing in your way of really capturing and captivating a nationwide audience. At Oregon State, I think there are fewer. And also, that's not a pity thing either. Like, we've got a lot of talent coming back. We've got the facilities. We've got a brand new stadium. We have a favorable schedule. You get to play at home 7 times next year instead of 6. And we're ready. And we can make this run right now and with a big fuck you to everybody and really turn this thing upside down. It wouldn't be that insane. Like, you just look at the rankings right now. Oregon State's about to play in the Sun Bowl at number 19 with a bunch of crazy shit that happened along the way. It's not impossible to imagine them as one of the 12 best teams or 12 highest ranked teams in college football next year with the schedule that they're playing. Even if you do lose to, say, like one of those, I won't even mention a team. Say you lose one game. But if you're 11-1 or even 10-2, like, you're making a play for one of those top 12 spots. Yeah. And I do think that's because that means more money for everybody, more exposure for everybody. And if you get into that tournament, even no matter what you do after that, like, you've already won. You've already won. You've already flipped off the entire establishment. You've already flipped off the traitorous 10. It would be an incredible thing to be a part of. And I do think kids want to be a part of experiences like that, because it's like, I don't know. I spent the afternoon today watching Minnesota in the Quick Lane Bowl, and I had fun because bowl games are fun and stupid and like crazy things happen. And it was an enjoyable game, but I'm like, if I was a kid trying to decide where I'm going to school next year, yeah, this school is in the Big Ten, but what identity do they have? And also what's standing in their way? It's zero identity and like 17 other teams that are going to stop us from getting somewhere cool. And with Oregon State, you need to beat like 2 to 3 other teams, take care of business, and just do you. And it's an opportunity that doesn't come around a lot. And I think there's a certain type of kid that relishes that opportunity. And it sounds like Gabarri, Jordan, and these other great prospects that have come in are relishing that opportunity. The players that are coming back relish that opportunity. We do need to start talking about the one football game we do have left this season. And I'm going to use this as a segue for that, because I do want to tribute some of the players who we know we won't get to see anymore, whose eligibility is running out. But I want to live in the dreams and live in the clouds for a little bit longer, because today I just had this thought occurred to me. I was just on a walk, and I was trying not even to think about sports, but it's hard to do that. And I out loud, I'm walking by myself. I'm not talking. And out loud, I said, holy fuck, what if Silas comes back?
About that today, too.
I just not to pressure him at all, but like he has an opportunity if he wants to. And then I started like arguing with myself about it, be like, well, the draft's not, he's not getting the respect he deserves. Like if he comes back one more year, and like, I don't want to be that guy. Silas, if you go pro, go on and do whatever. But I was just like, what if Silas Bolden comes back? And then I just started playing fucking EA Sports NCAA football in my head with all of the weapons that we have next year. And we don't know if that's going to happen, if Silas is going to come back next year, but he could. And if he did, it would be awesome. But we do know he's playing in El Paso on Friday. We have a pretty good idea of everyone else who will be joining him. We have a released depth chart from Oregon State that has a lot of things that we expected. Obviously, Ben Gulbranson as the starting quarterback. Dom Montiel was named as the number 2 official backup for him for the bowl game. Other notable things just on the offensive line, we obviously know we're without the bookends of Joshua Gray and Talise Fuaga. It looks like Jacob Strand will be getting the start at left tackle, who started against Oregon in Gray's absence as well, and Tyler Moreno getting the start at right tackle, which is significant, even in a bowl game where both sides are missing a lot of their top players. Seeing a good game out of those two at the tackle positions, I think, will go a long way into determining what type of offensive line we'll have next year, because I do think that's the main question with the offense right now that I want to see answered in the coming months. We obviously have seen some incoming transfers on the offensive line, and we've got some young guns as well, but the young guns haven't gotten much chance to play on the offensive line because we've been so solid up front. So I will be paying close attention to both Strand and Moreno at the tackle possessions. Inside, Miller will be at right guard, who has been there pretty much the whole season, as with Levin Good at center and Grant Stark at left guard. So the interior line should be great. I think a lot of Fenwick up the middle is going to be happening in this game. And just as far as Notre Dame, I'm not a Notre Dame expert goes, it looks like most of their defense is playing, and none of their offense is playing. So it might be another 3-0 Sun Bowl featuring Oregon State.
Nice.
And it's great to see guys like Silas playing. We'll get to see Jaden and Ryan Cooper Jr. and, of course, our guy Andrew Chatfield for sure. Knowing a little bit more about our roster now and just thinking about Friday, who are you guys sort of either keeping your eye on with one eye on for this game with an eye towards the future, or who are just particularly excited to see play in this bowl game and try to end the season with a dub, as we've done a couple times against one of college football's flagship brands in the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
I'm so excited to see Ben Gulbranson. And it's more so because how poetic the story would be if that was his swan song. And not just like, tip of the cap to you, Ben. Like you stuck it out all year. You bought into your role and you didn't, pout and transfer out and bash everyone on your way out. And honestly, like you had, some opportunity that I think most people would have accepted you to do that just because of how, you weren't called upon the one last season. Then you had been thrown into the fire. You go 7-1. We go to a bowl game. We win 10 games. You're the MVP of the bowl. And then, of course, you probably at that point assumed there'd be a competition between you and the freshmen. And you weren't expecting there to be a 5-star transfer, thrown into the ring. So you end up demoted down to what he threw one pass this year, and it was like for 8 yards or something like that. So, if he comes out firing and he stabilizes this offense that's fairly patched together, I would say that's an impressive feat. I would hope that he has a performance, and I'll be watching if he has a performance that puts him in a likely running for the bowl game MVP. And if so, I hope that the voters show a little bit of grace and do it for the storyline. I don't really care about bowl game MVPs, but I just want to see Ben Branson right out into the sunset, saving our program 2 seasons in a row.
Last 2 starts would be 2 bowl game wins and 2 bowl game MVPs.
Exactly. And over a year between those starts.
Incredible ratio.
Yeah. Yep. So that's something to keep an eye on. I know there's a lot of other like productivity-based or future-based storylines, but to me, like this is the Ben Branson game. Ben Bull Branson.
Ben Bull
Branson.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Benny.
No. You go ahead, Terry.
I was gonna say we get a good chance, at least on the defensive side of the ball as well. What I wanted to shift to a little bit, just because at the linebacker position we'll have youngsters Isaiah Chisholm and Melvin Jordan playing at the inside linebacker spots according to the depth chart. We got to see Jordan a little bit more than Chisholm this year, but Chisholm was both were very highly regarded recruits coming in, so they will be getting plenty of the spotlight in this game on defense. But also, like, Chatfield's going to play too. McCartan's going to play. Sione Lolohea is going to play. James Rawls is going to play. Joe Golden's going to play. So I'm pretty excited to see our defense get that challenge to line up against the Golden Domers. And then with the secondary should be in pretty good shape with everyone except Akili. So and Jermon McCoy, of course, as well. But I think we're going to be pretty strong on the defense side of the ball, and just like a nice blend of guys who may not be back and have played a lot of great ball for Oregon State's defense, but also guys who have been good and are young and have hopefully a long career in black and orange as well. So I think it'll be a nice mix of both of those things.
A quick note. I bummed that we won't see Hodgins, and
yes,
it's really a bummer that he won't get that final game. And I don't know what's the reason behind it. Like, it's not listed anywhere. I can't imagine he's sitting out for the NFL, given his injury history. Maybe it's an injury that has just been lingering and he just can't go after this much time off. Maybe he's just doesn't want to play because he's trying to heal, or maybe he's looking for a grad transfer situation. But not seeing him out there is a bummer, because I was hoping that we'd still get one more Hodgins game. So I hope everything's cool with him. But yeah, I'm bummed as a fan to not see him out there.
I'll tell you what I'm not bummed about, and that is Chatfield playing. I don't think it's a surprise. That is going to be my X factor in the game. Like you said, Notre Dame is going to they're on their like third string quarterback, right? I guess we are too.
I think technically second string.
Is it second string?
Sam Hartman played almost every snap for them this season. So yeah, and Steve Angeli, peanut butter and jelly time is the meme and GIF that Notre Dame social media likes to use for that. So if we let him get loose, get ready for a lot of peanut butter and jelly references on the timeline on Friday.
I think you're probably thinking along the right lines, that it's primed up to be a relatively low scoring game. But Chatfield has been a game changer in a lot of games down the stretch at the end of the year for Oregon State. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he gets a touchdown in the Sun Bowl. Or three touchdowns in the Sun Bowl. I think Chatfield, there will be a play that will be a pivotal play that Chatfield will be a part of. But bowl games are weird, and this is it could be a 50 to 48 point game as well. So you just never know with these games. I'm just excited to see Oregon State play in the Sun Bowl once again and play Notre Dame in a bowl game once again. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think it also gives a chance for, some of those players who may not have seen a lot of the field during the regular season to get some snaps, and it'll be fun to see those players. And
it will be in front of a sold out crowd, as announced at the Sun Bowl about an hour ago.
Yeah,
100% sold out.
El Paso shows out for the community of El Paso shows out for that game. So that's cool to see.
Oh yeah. JP, I'm with you in the sadness about not seeing Isaac Hodgins one more time. Hodgins is one of 8 6-year seniors on this roster who have been here through the entire Jonathan Smith era and now longer than Jonathan Smith was. And we remember the beginning of that era, and a lot of these kids came to Oregon State with very little promise to them or any guarantees of what could happen on the field. And obviously there was a pandemic that interrupted their careers and maybe put some of the progress on hold for a little bit. But I just want to make sure we take some time to give these 8 young men their shine. They're all guys who've been mentioned on this podcast before, but for this game, they are Josiah Irish, Riley Sharp, Jaden Robinson, John McCartan, Katana Oladapo, Jake Levingood, Isaac Hodgins, and Reha Manyagi, 6-year seniors. So when you're excited about the future of Oregon State football and you're like, oh man, we were so bad at that one point. It's so much fun that we're here. Remember that these guys were in the trenches daily for 6 years to get us to this point. I'm so happy for all of them for their incredible careers that they've had, and so grateful for all of them. With some of them, it feels like they just got here, but it's been 6 years. Yeah. And they were part of that 2018 team that went out there and went 2-10, coming off of a year where it was unquestionably the worst team in Power 5 football. So all the credit in the world is due to everyone who strapped on the pads during that time just to help move the needle just a little bit to get Oregon State football to where it is now. But those 8 guys, man, every one of them has had a moment. Every one of them has helped us win a big game. And we know Hodge can't play on Friday. Calvin Hart Jr., this was his only 1 year in the program, but he's out of eligibility and also won't be playing on Friday. But yeah, just when you see the other 7 guys out there playing their ass off, soak it all in. And extend a thought, a prayer, a vibe, a wish, or whatever, or more. I think you can still Damnation Collective will happily take your donation on behalf of any Oregon State athlete. But yeah, it's just what this team has been through and thinking back to where it was.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
And none of them had to stay with it this long. And they all did. And all those guys are amazing and are
speaking of this long
Beavers.
I think to put it into perspective, and this might make it a little more real for people to understand. So Isaac Hodgins is just over a year younger to the day from Isaiah Hodgins. Isaiah
in the league.
Freshman year was 2017. Isaac's year was 2018. So think about how long it's felt that Isaiah Hodgins has been in the league. Yes, he didn't go all 4 years, let alone 6. But just like think about that. I mean, that feels like an eternity ago that Isaac Hodgins was even a sophomore, or Isaiah Hodgins even a sophomore on our team, let alone Isaac Hodgins joining him on the team. But it's that really, it makes you feel like, because now it's almost like Isaiah Hodgins, Isaac's older brother, right? It's just kind of the way you think of it. He's in the league, Isaac's still in school. But they're just 370 days apart for their birthdays. So,
jeez.
Yeah. The timelines of the COVID years makes everything very odd, as Terry likes to recall. But it's pretty wild.
I think it's important to call these guys out even more now than ever, just with the landscape of college football, where like I think we all agree that, you know, kids have the right to go wherever they want, go be great wherever they want, chase whatever dream that they have. But at the same time, it also feels like loyalty is kind of at a premium right now, and is, at least the feeling is that loyalty is harder to come by right now. So you have players that not only stuck it out for 6 years with the program, but stuck it out for 6 years, where a number of those years were not probably the most fun years of playing football. So, you know, huge shout out to those guys. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been on a 2-10 team before, but I can't imagine it's as fun as what last year was. So, you know, this was a program that needed to be picked up by the bootstraps and you know, willed itself back into relevance. And these are the players that, you know, did that. So, you know, a lot of gratitude is owed to these gentlemen.
Absolutely. Predictions for Friday. We don't have a preseason prediction to bring up here, as none of us predicted an Oregon State Notre Dame Sun Bowl. But fresh off the dome, Benny, let's start with you.
Yeah.
If Chatfield gets one touchdown, that's at least more points than the 2008 Sun Bowl.
Yeah.
What are the other point totals?
I think this is a 13-10 Oregon State win. Yeah, 13-10 Oregon State win. Chatfield with the touchdown, and add 2 field goals onto that.
13-10, not a 42-14. How could you
I
not?
don't think it's going to be that high scoring, but now that I didn't pick it, that probably will happen.
That's going to be the score of the Oregon State versus Oregon women's basketball game on Saturday
at the end of the first
Sunday.
quarter.
Yeah.
If you did like try to find the lowest common denominator of the 42-14, I think it would probably be 6-2.
Oh,
ooh,
okay, yeah.
That'd be like the mini Weehage,
the mini
instead of the full Weehage.
Yeah, 6-2. Okay,
so like 12-4 could.
I like 6-2.
We'll let you keep 13-10. Wait, Ben, JP, are you predicting 6-2?
Yeah.
Now 6-2. How does the 6 cut? Is it 3 safeties? Is it 2 field goals, or is it 1 touchdown?
Don't put that kind of pressure on me. I would say
3 safeties to 1 safety would be the greatest bowl game of all time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna root for 4 safeties.
Would that be a scoregami 6-2? That would have to be a scoregami.
I mean, I maybe in college.
For college, yeah, college has a pretty low.
But I'm actually looking at scoregami right now, and the last 6-2 game in the NFL at least was the Dallas Cowboys 6 and the Cleveland Browns 2, and that was December 12th, 1970. The first 6-2. The original scoregami for that score was the Green Bay Packers 6, the Chicago Bears 2, November 1st, 1931.
Oh, wow.
Both those teams.
Oh,
No one cares
those Great
about-
Depression games.
No one cares about 1931 football games.
Says
that was
who?
the one game that was played that year, and the Green Bay Packers claimed a world championship off of it. That's how fucking lame that is. I'm going to say 22-16 Beavers win. So I'm going crazy with the points here.
Damn.
Yeah, I think Benny. I don't know how we'll get to 22, but I think Benny connects on at least one. And yeah, I'd say that if the defense doesn't get a touchdown itself, I'd say it puts us in position to get a touchdown off of a really short field.
For what it's worth, 6-2 game in college football has not happened in the last 14 years. And the last time it was October 3rd, 2009, Bryant 6, Wagner 2. That just seems like two dudes who decided to play football. And
I smoked pot with Bryant and Wagner.
With Bryant Wagner.
But there's another 6-2 scoregami that was the sixth time ago scoregami way back in 1961. Can anyone guess?
Oregon State 6, Oregon 2.
That is correct.
What? Wow. Let's go.
That was a guess, but
That was the mini Weehaves back in November 25th, 1961.
Great
Are you going to change
day.
your prediction now, Benny?
Everyone cares about
Ooh.
games in 1961. 1931 sucked ass, but 1961 football was real, damn it.
There's only been 2 6-2s, though, since 1967. And that's your sinus, your sinus,
Your sinus.
your sinus, your 6, LaSalle 2, and then Bryant and Wagner, those two bros playing football out in the frat yard.
Bryant.
They've had a
and
Pee Wee
Wagner.
football game end 6-2. That's one of those things.
Yeah. What's your prediction? 6-2?
My
Benny's?
prediction? 13 to 10.
Terry.
22 to 16 is still
Okay.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Should I write these down?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm right, what do I get?
Wait, you said a 6-2 win, right, JP? I
Yes.
can
I would not say a 6-2 loss. We've never been on the receiving end of a 6-2 loss before.
That's true.
Yeah. That doesn't happen. We only win 6-2.
Yeah. When it's 6-2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Oregon has 0 wins when the final score is 6-2.
That's what the logo stands for. 0 wins by scores of 6-2 since 1876 or whenever that fucking school started.
While we're on predictions, and I know this is going back, but I think Oregon State has a better chance of making the playoffs next year than any of the schools that are leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. Unbiasedly, I do.
Yeah.
Unbiasedly and totally correctly, I think this.
There's no change in my mind. I have nothing factual to base this assessment on. I just have a hunch.
The only thing
I have a hunch.
Yeah. I have a completely correct hunch that I'd like to share with you all. I think that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
USC and UCLA probably aren't going to be that good next year.
No.
And the path for both Washington and Oregon, and it being, the first year of this travel. I know they're saying it doesn't matter for football.
Oh God,
I think
it is.
does. So we'll see. And I haven't looked deeply enough at their schedules yet. I will as we get closer. But I know they both play each other again. And Oregon plays us, which we're really going to want to fucking win.
I'm
Washington plays
upset about
Washington
making
State
that deal now.
at Lumen Field. Like, those aren't going to be easy games for anybody. So, yeah, I think.
When did they play Washington at Lumen Field? I'm going to that game.
This is the part of the podcast where we look things up. Give me 1 second. Talk for 15 seconds.
I'm just gonna make so many Husky fans cry And here's a question. Just real easy answer.
It's the same day we play Oregon. It's Saturday, September 14th.
Ah, fuck. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to do that game. Who are you guys cheering for?
Wait, who are we cheering for and what?
Who are you guys cheering for? Texas or Washington?
No one.
Because here's the dilemma. Here's the dilemma.
Get me and JP yelling at each other again.
No. Here's the dilemma. And this is the only thing. Maybe I should just ask this question. If Washington wins the national championship, Oregon State and Washington State get more money. Am I correct in that assessment?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, more, but not all of it. But yes, more than the purse of what they're forfeiting for the revenues this year.
Which I honestly would be fine with. Like, I mean, fuck Washington for it would be sick to imagine the president and provost and chancellors and dignitaries and assholes at the University of Washington.
Oh, especially the president.
Celebrating.
Fuck her.
Yeah.
A lot of Husky fans hate her too. I've been like trying to like start shit and I can't because
They're like, I know, dude. She's terrible.
Like, yeah, fuck. She is terrible. Who am I cheering for? I'm not cheering. I don't care.
Texas is the right answer.
Texas.
Yeah.
This was Benny trying to set up money ain't shit segment, and we didn't respond with enough enthusiasm.
I wasn't sure how I was going to I wasn't sure what my answer was until I heard you guys talking about it. But Texas is the right answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are you cheering for in Alabama and Michigan, Benny?
Oh, I don't care.
I really don't care. I will watch. I will watch, and I just want to see good football games and be entertained on New Year's Day. But I will not lose sleep either way.
Hey, because I'd like to talk about something I actually care about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
This normally very focused, dialed in podcast.
Yes, you guys want to know how focused and dialed in? You want to know how focused and dialed in I've been? I've been looking up more college football scorigamis for Oregon State. Guess how many times we've been on the winning end of a full Wehage all time?
7.
Terry, how many?
All time?
Yeah.
42.
1.
What?
We've only won 42-14 once.
Against who?
Iowa. And but hey, this is where it gets very fun.
We gave up 14 points to Iowa?
Yeah. In 1969.
Yeah. Wait, for the Liberty Bowl, right?
No, because this was September 20th, 1969.
Regular season game.
Oregon State 42, Iowa 14. We have been on the losing end of the full Wehage twice, and that was 1980 against Arizona, and of course 2006 against Boise State.
God, I remember that game.
That's interesting. My parents live like 45 minutes away from Kinnick Stadium at the University of Iowa.
Yeah. And it's called the full Wehage, and it happened in '69. Can it get any more meta? Only if it happened on your birthday.
Keep predicting 42-14.
Yeah.
Only if it happened on your birthay.
3 days early.
Yeah, it was 3 days early. That would have been.
Wait, what did we beat? We beat Notre Dame 41-9.
Yeah.
In the Fiesta Bowl? I think that was 41-9.
Yep. It was. That was the only game where we scored ended in 41-9 for Oregon State. That was a scorigami for Oregon State.
You know what? I'm going to change my prediction to 41-9.
Nice.
41-9.
Changing your prediction from 13-10 to 41-9.
Yeah. There were a couple of other facts that I didn't take into consideration before I made that pick.
Yeah. Like scorigamis. Those are important.
Punches.
Yeah. Ben just looked at like, oh no, Flavio Gonzalez is the backup left tackle. I didn't know that. 41-9. You should have read the second string offensive line, Terry. What are you doing? Why don't we save everything else for next week? I think all of this is evergreen content, right, JP?
I think you're right. This was a good Sun Bowl heavy episode.
Hey, I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna ask for one 5-second request because I never do. Play "Bitch Better Have My Money" by Rihanna, and shout out to all the other 10 traitorous schools. This one's for you.
Love it. Yes,
hit it.
Good.
Hit it. Yes, we're totally listening to it right now. We can hear it while talking to each other because that's how this works. We talked about that a bit last episode, I'm pretty sure, and we talked about it a ton during Belligerent. So I think the fans and listeners and fans alike. I know some people hate listening to this show, and that's okay. Their numbers count the same. And
I hate you guys, but I'm listening. I can't stop.
Yeah.
Who was that guy that hated us? But we
Charles. Shout out Charles.
Yeah, Charles on YouTube. The funniest part about that whole rant he had was that he was consuming all of the episodes on YouTube, which no one does.
Now
they didn't know that we had him on YouTube for a while.
Now they do.
My favorite part
it's growing.
He described us as Beavis and Butthead Dumb and Dumber do conference realignment, sort of, but only after smoking, parentheses, some pretty good, unparentheses, pot on the way to realization. It was like a lot of nonsense, but also a lot of fun.
Yeah, but all fun.
Lots of foolishness.
Plus
some great ideas and plus some great ideas and insight too. I never thought I'd turn around someone who called us all like brain dead idiots. And his comments started on like the 31st YouTube episode and ended on like the 60th.
Yeah, he just like
upon re-listening.
Yeah. Streaming is going to be
podcast, kids, because you'll make friends in all kinds of weird places.
I like these comments. He goes, approximately 18 minutes. Conference realignment talk sort of starts. Maybe. Edit. Nope. Spoke too soon. Skipped ahead to 32.
Commenting.
Yes. Skipped ahead to 32:15. Maybe they might be talking about college football conference realignment. Maybe. That's still not clear. Nope. Maybe 34 minutes is the start, but still maybe not. Approximately 36 minutes. They get into bullshit brand values. Total BS as the media rights deals bear out. 44-20. If the Pac-12 wants to survive, then they don't say anything for minutes later.
Man, that is our podcast in a nutshell.
Beavs are reading the minutes from Pac-12 board meetings before it all fell apart. Who knows the difference?
Yeah, here's the other one. Looking like 1.5 hours of mostly nonsense other than potential for global branding feature. Really like that idea for potential. And why not? Basketball is taking over globally.
Feature?
We were seeing how like Apple or Amazon could bring the Pac-12 global.
Oh, my God.
Any other positive reviews published or readable. I only want what this guy had to say because he
also called
brilliant.
him George Kleov cock.
Charles, if you're listening to this, hit us up in our DMs.
No, only
I
YouTube.
want to buy you.
I only want to hear from him on YouTube.
I want to buy you a beer. I
want to buy you several beers. It's been 122 episodes of this, and we never thought of George Kleofcock, and this guy did. We are washed. We're done. This is the last episode. We didn't think
Follow
of that shit.
Charles Malloy for more fun quiz.
Isn't he a lawyer too? Bodie the Boatface already wasn't our lawyer on retainer. We'd have to hire Charles Malloy.
He's an experienced...
Isn't Malloy what that really bad liquor from Chicago is called?
No,
or is that
that's
Malort's?
That's Malort.
Malort.
Right.
Well, I found Charles.
Ed Malloy is the name of a really bad Timberwolves referee one time, and he fucked over, or a really bad NBA referee. Yeah. And he really fucked over the Timberwolves in one game, and I forget what stadium the Timberwolves were playing at, but it was one where the radio guys are like on the scorer's table and not up in the stand like they are at like some stadiums. And Alan Horton, the Timberwolves radio guy, was just like, that's ridiculous. That's a terrible call. Malloy! And so whenever that guy gets a Timberwolves game, the fans just like shout Malloy the whole time. And he loves it because he is a dick and he looks like a cartoon Bond villain with a really long neck, and I hate him. But I very much like the look of Charles Malloy, our biggest fan on YouTube.
You know what's funny is no wonder he knew that we were Dumb and Dumber, Beavis and Butthead, smoking some really good pot, according to him, because he's a battle-tested Texas trial lawyer and attorney at law and handles a wide variety of legal matters, including, but not limited to, of course he's got to have that, and this is in his YouTube bio, but not limited to DWI, driving while intoxicated, intoxication, manslaughter, and other criminal cases, including a bunch of other things. Like
that's on his YouTube. Like, it's fucking, like, video LinkedIn or something. Just in case someone clicks on my profile after I've commented on their YouTube videos.
Maybe he was just fishing for people, who are seemingly intoxicated, and he can
These
plant the
fuckers
seed.
Clearly need representation for getting in trouble while intoxicated. They're about to do it now. Guys, the FCC is moments away from sending you a really stern email. Please hit me up. Oh, my goodness. Well, shouts to the Oregon State women's basketball team, which is still undefeated after an impressive win over Texas Tech and Hawaii. They are 10-0 and finally receiving some votes in the AP poll.
Finally.
They're not ranked in the AP poll yet, but they're at least receiving votes. God damn it. By the next time we talk, it will be 2024, and Oregon State women's basketball will be ranked 24 or higher.
Yeah, and 12
they
and
host Morgan State.
Morgan State.
It's like Oregon State, but with an M.
It's kind of like, somebody was
Thursday.
like, hey, you want to go to Oregon State? And they're like, Morgan State. And then they're like, you want to go to Morgan State? Okay, sold. Somebody showed up there like,
and
what
then
am I
they
doing
host
here?
Oh, no.
Oregon, which is not like Oregon State with an M. It's like
Morgan
Oregon State, but sucky. So the opposite of Oregon State.
Yeah.
At Gill on New Year's Eve. So lots of chances to get to Gill. Men's basketball finally gets its blowout victory. They blasted Idaho State by 19 points at Gill the other night. Benny mistakenly reported it as a complete sellout.
It looked like it.
Live on Belligerent. It did not look like it. The picture
looked like
of
it
a
from
game
the screenshot that I saw.
The screenshot of a game that was a sellout years ago looked like it. But they still won.
I was fooled. I was bamboozled.
They still won. And they are still undefeated at Gill. It was something that was true about that game was the third 25-point game for All-American, All-Universe Jordan Pope this season. And they also will be at Gill this week. They host the LA schools, UCLA and USC at Gill.
Traitors.
Weekend. So 4 opportunities to get to Gill and get some Gill dogs and some Gill beers and some Gill holiday fun. And if you go to either the USC or UCLA game, let those traitors know.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo
Yeah.
loud.
Fucking boo.
Boo this man.
I hope to see a sold-out crowd on the Oregon Live
It's
thumbnail.
going to be packed to the rafters.
Yeah. Just like
It
last
really
time.
should, though. We talked about it on our spaces, but we have to reiterate on this episode that this team has some fight. Like, they're not quitting on games.
Yeah.
And even if they're close ones that are frustrating, they're still battling. So show them some support. I would love to try to make it down there for one of these games, but I don't know if it's going to be in the cards. But if you are in Corvallis, if you're there over break, if you're a student, if you live nearby and it's a quick drive to and from for a later evening game, get out there and show them some support because
Phil Gill.
They're
Phil Gill. Phil Gill. Kind of Phil Gill.
Well, they've got like 5 games. They're on a 5-game win streak. Like they're definitely showing out what they can do. So
that's a winning streak.
Yeah,
that's a winning streak. And we're still going to be here to ride for men's basketball. We're starting to get negative comments on all the social media channels about us being positive about men's basketball. And sorry for finding happiness in this shit, douchebags. But Oregon State men's basketball is winning games right now. They're doing a great job. Jordan Pope is him. Coach Bubba is the shit. We love Coach Bubba. Shout out Marla. And
also
shout out
him.
Also her.
Well, Marla, her.
Marla.
She is her.
Shout out to her and shout out to him. And yeah, it's just fun. It's fun right now. They might lose the next 10 games in a row. They might win the next 10 games in a row.
I think we're going
to
to beat UCLA.
Do something in between. I hope
UCLA is looking
UCLA.
god awful. They've looked god awful.
They've been sluggish as shit.
Yeah, like those. They're not winning their close games. That they look like us.
And
like
we are
last year, 2 years ago.
We are.
They're on a 4-game. They're on a 4-game skid right now.
About to be 5 or 6.
The SC matchup.
We're about to make Bronny look like he's Darko Milicic.
That's another reason. Just get out there. I mean, how often are you going to say you're going to see Bronny James get shut down in Gill?
Yeah.
This is your only chance.
Yeah.
Hashtag Dex to NBA.
We went to go see James Harden get shut down at Gill, and that was probably the best time I've ever had at a basketball game. So get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also shouted
at Gill.
We also shouted obscenities about Nick Young's mohawk that he did not appreciate when
Swaggy P
he was
got
SC.
shut down at Gill. That fuck Bobby got shut down.
For 4 quarters, essentially for the
for more
regulation.
Than 40 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
Dude.
All of regulation until the last second.
Now I'm.
And
now
then
I'm
overtime.
Yeah, he played for Yale, didn't he?
No,
he was at like Montana State.
Oh, Montana State.
That was Montana State game.
Yale was the next game after that.
Yeah,
Yale game.
Bobby.
Oh, that Yale
Frickin'
game
Bobby.
was rough. The Yale game was my first game as the reporter for the Daily Barometer.
Oh, really?
Oh, man. It was my fault.
Probably.
I'm sorry, Coach Robinson. My presence ruined it. My preview ruined it. Probably.
Was this name Bobby Howard?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
There have been like 100 Bobby Howards.
It was like the whitest name ever. Yeah, Bobby Howard sounds.
He ended up on all Big Sky first team. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Big Sky, big man.
Yeah.
Big shot.
I thought he was gonna wait for me behind the Gill dumpster where I used to hide my beer so I can have one at halftime or on the walk home.
Oh yeah.
Before they sold beer at Gill.
He did not like you.
No.
At all.
No. He gave me the
It was
so
funny
throat
for me.
And
He gave
was
me the
totally
throat slit.
justified.
The double-handed throat slit.
Double-handed
Yeah.
throat slit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Reggie Miller. Sit down.
He was in that moment.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was in that moment.
Which means that JP was Spike Lee.
He's
He
the
was
assistant basketball coach for Alaska.
Oh.
Mm.
So he hasn't seen the sun in like 3 months at this
or
point.
has only seen the sun. Is that this time of year?
No.
No, that's summer.
That's summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm curious. I was like, when's the midnight sun game for baseball? Oh yeah, probably not December.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys. Look at that. Another incredible episode of the Belligerent Beavs Podcast. We did it again.
We did it again.
No critiques. Just 5 stars. 5 stars only. Everyone loved it. Listen to how happy all of the listeners are.
5
right
only
now.
stars. 5 only fans.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars on OnlyFans, please. And then also subscribe for $1,000 a month. Just kidding. We don't have an OnlyFans. Take that $1,000 and give it to Damnation NIL Collective. They're doing good work.
Please.
But thank you for tuning in to this 122nd episode of the Belligerent Beavs Podcast. If this is your first time here, fucking welcome. Shout out to you. Specific shout out to you. We like you the best. We like you better than all of the rest. You are our favorite. We say we don't play favorites, but if this is your first time listening to this show and you made it this far in the episode, you, person, in your car, during your workout, wherever you are right now, you are our favorite. We like you better than we like everyone else. That's pretty cool.
Better than we like each other, at least.
Better than we, for sure, better
Facts.
than we like each other. Facts. Hard facts. So if that is you, why not give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, whether that be Apple, Spotify, somewhere else, Google.
Man, Spotify's blowing up.
Spotify's going crazy with the and also please recommend the show with a friend. Like take a share or a screenshot or like just a copy link of the episode right now and literally text it directly to somebody right now and be like, hey, listen to this shit.
Yeah.
You'll be like, okay, what is it? Don't worry about it.
It's the perfect thing to send to those scam artists that text you like, hey, are we still doing dinner? Or like, is this
listen to
hello?
this? Listen to this right now, or I will come over to your house and fight you in front of your family. Text those words and those words exactly. And then all of your dreams will come true. Get all the scammers off your back. It really helps us grow the show a lot. My name is and has and will be Terry Horseman at Terry Horseman on X, formerly known as Twitter, and at Terrence Horseman at Instagram.com. Joined, as always, by my beloved co-host in Tacoma, the new hub of incredible 4-star and 5-star talent. Tacoma, Washington, Tacoma Mockingbird, Tacoma Ben, Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Wehage, a.k.a. Benny with the good cough, a.k.a. Benny Bowl Game, but not at this bowl game, but every other bowl game, a.k.a. Benny Bedlam because he's fucking crazy, folks, a.k.a. Benny Burner, a.k.a. Benny Blastoff, and a.k.a. at Benny L. 1986 on all of your social media channels except OnlyFans. Are you going to do an OnlyFans? Is that your New Year's resolution in 2024?
Money's tight, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Benny L.
In this
1986 on
economy?
OnlyFans, maybe. In this economy. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Is that the slogan for 2024?
In this economy?
In this economy?
Who knows? ...
Maybe. And in Portland, the man steering the ship on the ones and twos, JP Bertram at JP Bertram on Instagram. He is at the Trial J on X, formerly known as Twitter. That's at the _Trial_J because he is too trial to be real. He is the man, the myth, the legend behind all of the Oregon State Belligerent Beavs Bray area merch and more that you can find at belligerentbeavs.com/merch. Check it out, belligerentbeavs.com. Follow the show on X, formerly known as Twitter, at belligerentbeavs, on Instagram at belligerentbeavs, also on Facebook, also on TikTok, also and especially on YouTube, on Blue Sky, on MySpace, on Friendster, in partnership with Betsy on Etsy, and every other social media channel that has ever existed or will exist. We're like deep on Reddit, the dating app that's just for Star Wars nerds, on OnlyFans, and especially fans, and maybe fans, in this economy, maybe fans, and Fandango. Huge on Fandango with lots of good movies coming out now. So Belligerent Beavs /Fandango. Hit us up.
And you are?
I already said mine.
Oh, you already said yours.
What are we waiting on?
Yeah.
We're waiting on me saying thank you for rocking with us for this whole year, this whole calendar year. It's 2023 for only a few more days. Enjoy the Sun Bowl. Have a safe, especially, but also very fun, healthy, and happy New Year's with you and yours, Beaver fam. And just one more time, thanks so much for rocking with us this year. And always, as much shit that sucked this year, God damn it was still a lot of fun. And we'll be back here recording the first week of the new year, 2024. We got a lot of shit planned for 2024.
Hell yeah.
Lots. We're deep into our diabolical plan folders. We are deep into New Year's resolutions. We'll talk about them next week. Benny, that means get some New Year's resolutions in the next few days. Terry, get some resolutions you can stick to the next few days. JP always comes correct on the New Year's resolution, so he'll be fine. Stu, though, we'll we'll put some prep in over the next week or so. Enjoy the Sun Bowl. Enjoy the historic 41-9 victory against Notre Dame for the second time, according to Benjamin Lawrence Sebastian.
6-2.
Or 6-2 as you count down to New Year's. Hope you have someone to kiss, and if not, I hope you find someone to kiss consensually, of course, and ring in the new year with style and substance and grace.
Style and grace.
All up in the place. Filled with Beaver fans only. Thank you so much, Beaver fam. We'll see you again next year. JP, please play with 5 more seconds of the New Year's song. Auld Lang Syng or whatever. I want it playing while we go out into dark at this point in the episode, hopefully in conjunction with the end credits music. Remember, Beaver fam, at this time of the year, another year down, another year still to come. No matter how hard they try to knock us down, we get back up, and they still can't spell chop 'em without hope. So chop 'em.
Chop 'em.
It's 2023, so chop 'em.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And a belated yet belligerent Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.